Hello everyone. Now I want to present my paper, User Experience Evaluation in Immersive Virtual Reality Series Game, a Research Design. So for introduction, design of research projects is crucial in science, social science and many other areas. The most crucial step for the researcher is to choose the proper study design after choosing the research subject and creating questions. The function of a research design is to create an acceptable framework for a study. So according to Chicha and Mustela 2019, many previous studies have no consistent research design related to user experience evaluation in IVRSG. So to overcome the problem of picking the research method and techniques in a study, a researcher must truly understand the research design and its relevance in research. Therefore, this study proposed a research design to construct a new model named Virtual SD model for evaluating user experience in IVRSG. This is the type of research design. There will be three of them, which is quantitative research design, qualitative research design, and mixed method research design. For qualitative research design, there will be two inside of it, which is experimental research design and non-experimental. So for experimental research is a collection of methodologies in which the researcher create various treatment or situation and investigate their impact on participants. For non-experimental research incorporates strategies used to perform quantitative research in which no variables in the study are manipulated. So next is the qualitative research design, where we have 6 narrative, phenomenological, grounded theory, action research, case study, and ethnographic research. So qualitative research explores a person or group's meaning to a social or human problems. Next is the mixed method research design. It integrates qualitative and quantitative research and data in a research study. It comprises explanatory sequential and exploratory sequential. So this is DSR methodology, which is the name is design science research. It's known as constructive research. Is a methodological strategy centered on the development of goods that meet human needs, stated by B. Kuchler 2014. According to Javan's study, he has examined and compared the matching activities and properties of action research AR and DSR. He discovered that AR and DSR share the same 5 major actions in a research cycle. He also identified 7 AR and 6 DSR characteristics and demonstrate how they correspond. So DSR has been identified as a viable research strategy when the academic need to engage with companies to test new ideas in a real-world environment. That is stated by ISCAEI 2020. So this is the diagram for design science research methodology. It consisted of 6 tasks performed in a notional order. So the first is a problem identification and motivation. Second is objective of solution. The second is design and development. The fourth one is the demonstration. The fifth one is evaluation. And the sixth one is communication. Okay, this is the proposed research design, which has adapted from design science research. So it has 4 phases, which is problem investigation, model development, model evaluation, and documentation. So for the process in problem investigation, it will be comprehensive literature review, identify elements related to user experience in IVRSG. For the second phase is the abstract list of elements for virtual SD model and draft virtual SD model. And the third phase is assess expert opinion and finalization of virtual SD model, evaluation of IVRSG game. And the final phase will be the documentation that will be or collected all the data from each phase. So research question. For research question 1 is what are the virtual SD model element for evaluating user experience in an immersive virtual reality series game? The second is how to construct the virtual SD model for evaluating UX in VRSG. The third is how to evaluate the constructed virtual SD model. And the fourth one is how to validate the constructed virtual SD model could differentiate the high rated and low rated IVRSG. So the first phase is the problem investigation. The process will be investigated the problem regarding user experience evaluation in an immersive virtual reality series game environment by answering the following question. And this last one is identify component related to user experience in IVRSG by conducting literature study through content analysis. So this is the question. What is the problem? The problem is that the previous study have a limitation on evaluating the technical quality of evaluation item or their validity for concluding the usefulness of immersive virtual reality series game. So why is a problem? Lack of model, framework or guideline can contribute to failure to evaluate an IVRSG. Where is the problem occurring? The problem occurs for evaluating all RVRSG across VRSG's education and training. Who is experiencing the problem? Designer and developer, IVRSG and the practitioners. When is the problem occurring? The problem has always existed. It has become more evident with growing attention in immersive virtual reality and series game. How often was the problem observed? Studies show that the industry looked for a proper model or framework for evaluating the user experience of immersive virtual reality series game. How was the problem observed? The problem has been raised many times by the concern in the designer and developer evaluating an immersive virtual reality series game, users and researchers' publication. So this is the mapping element. It shows the most of the existing framework is more generic as it uses common elements such as present, immersion, usability, emotionality, flow and skills. As part of the mapping, it is clear that some researchers are using different terms for the same elements. The description for each element in the respective source setting was used for comparison purpose instead of its title. So the description of all the elements of the game element are then compared with different terms given to the element in the source framework. The most common repeatedly element in the extracted list of elements will be used in the study to develop the virtual SD model. So you can see the most repeatedly is the green one, the color of the green, and for the red ones, the intervention element was not included in the initial draft model because it has the same meaning as cognitive and motivational element but different interpretation. Using this common element and other element related to IVRSD is expected to develop the virtual SD model. The second phase is model development. The process is the list of appropriate elements will be extracted from the literature review using content analysis. The initial proposed virtual SD model is developed based on the mapping. So this is the list of appropriate elements that will be extracted from the literature review using content analysis. As a result, the study extracted the list of potential elements to evaluate UX in IVRSG, which is the present, immersion, usability, emotion, flow, learning goal, content appropriateness, cognitive motivation, feedback, and skill. The early draft of the virtual SD model complete the initial part of the model development phase. The developed model will then be evaluated in the next step to ensure the model evaluation. So this is the proper virtual SG model, the element with its operational definition. The model comprises a serious game aspect recognized as a UX in constructing a virtual reality immersive serious game. The third phase will be a model evaluation. The reason for evaluation is assessing expert opinion on the abstracted element to identify the validation of the appropriate element for constructing the virtual SG model. The expert need to pass the requirement criteria to proceed with evaluation. The expert will be contacted to examine and comment on the proposed virtual SG model. After obtaining the expert feedback on the proposed virtual SG model, the feedback will be calculated and processed through content validity method, and the final draft of the model will be developed. The two existing IVRSG games will be selected based on high and low rated by the professional game reviewer. The two games proceed with evaluation using the final draft model to prove the validity of the two games. This will be the requirement criteria for academic expert and industrial expert. So for academic expert, it must be a full-time academician, have at least a minimum of 10-year teaching experience, have at least 1 year of experience in computer games or game technology research, have a qualification that the Ministry of Higher Education recognizes. For industrial expert, a knowledgeable designer know any research or development about UX in IVRSG. An expert in the game is being reviewed. So this is the content validity process. Content validity is a key concept in research technique related to how well the instrument content access for which is designed. The process will be done through expert review. After obtaining the expert feedback on the first draft of the proposed model, the virtual SG model will be finalized. The suggested model is finalized using a combination of the first draft and changes based on expert opinion during the validation phase. The expert reviews amendment to the proposed model are critical to meeting the research studies requirement. This is the procedure for evaluation of IVRSG game. The two existing IVRSG game will be selected to match the game as nearly as possible in terms of game type, year of development, and genre. These two IVRSG games have a major difference in rating between the two games, which is one game was highly rated and the other one was lowly rated. A professional game reviewer has reviewed these two IVRSG games. The expert need to evaluate two existing IVRSG games using the element of the virtual SG model based on a scale of 1 to 5. The values from 1 to 5 represented strongly disagree, neutral, agree, and strongly agree. This value will be collected to report finding and will be analyzed. For the final phase is the documentation to organize all data and conclusion connected to the research model, including specifics, concepts, procedures, and related topics. All the required data would be carefully documented in a report form, making the information or process of the study easier to comprehend and distribute. So thank you for listening my presentation. Have a good day.